Hi there, students. A whim. A whim. This is a sudden wish, a sudden idea, particularly something that can't be reasonably explained. You do something on a whim. I bought it on a whim. She indulges my every whim. I've got a whim to eat baked Alaska, so let's do it. It's a caprice, a sudden wish, a sudden desire, a fanciful impulse, or a change of idea as well. You do something on a whim. You suddenly change your idea. So it's a sudden capricious idea, a fancy. On a whim, I decided to go and visit my cousin in Huntingdon. On a whim, I bought the boat. It was quite a strange whim. It's an arbitrary impulse. Yeah, it's something that you suddenly decide what you want. So, if you're a dictator, then your whims suddenly are very important. Yeah, you could, as a dictator, you could have somebody executed on a whim. Why? Just because. It's just because I feel like it. A party thrown on a whim. Yeah, it's a sudden idea. It's a sudden impulse. I decided on a whim to go and visit Turkey. Yeah. Okay, it's just a whim. It's a whim of his. As the whim, he does exactly as the whim takes him. Yeah, I'm tired of you fulfilling all of your son's whims. He's got to grow up. Yeah, okay, as the whim takes you, as you feel like it. So it's a sudden and often eccentric idea, a sudden fancy, a sudden desire. So the whims of rock stars can be very difficult to satisfy. So yes, I had a whim to eat strawberries. So a whim is a wish to do something, a wish to have something, but for no serious reason. There's no purpose behind it, and it occurs very suddenly. They say that pregnant women have whims to eat the strangest of things. It's an odd, fanciful idea, something a bit kooky that you suddenly decide you want to do. So on a whim, I decided to dress up like Batman. On a whim, I took my car to London. So it's a notion, a sudden desire, freakish fancy. I had a whim to walk in the rain, so I walked in the rain. It's a sudden feeling of something that you'd really like to do, and there's no good reason behind it. Yeah, I didn't do this on a whim. I had really good reasons behind it, and this is a good way of using it. This is not a whim. This is a serious request. Okay, so you can focus on the fact that something is serious by saying it's not a whim. Yeah, it's not an impulse. This is seriously thought out. I'm not going to leave my destiny to the whim of other people. I dyed my hair green on a whim on Friday. Yeah, this was no sudden whim of the writer. He didn't do it on a whim or in a fit of panic. The king had when the king has a whim, then we all have to jump. Yeah. They fulfill his every whim. I bought the record or the song on a whim. On a whim, we decided to go to Los Angeles for the weekend. Okay, I started this channel on a whim. I suddenly decided it would be nice to have a channel. Yeah, so on a whim. Yeah, it's just something that you have this eccentric fancy to do something. He quit his job on a whim. Ooh, that could be serious later. Yeah, a wish which has no reason behind it, no purpose. It just comes to you. It seems like the price increase is just a whim of the owner, a sudden caprice, a fancy, a notion, an impulse, a whimsy, yeah, a quirk. So his mother indulged his every whim. I bought this house on a whim. I bought the suit on a whim. He panders to her every whim. You can't not go to work on a whim. Yeah, so he had dozens of servants who catered to his every whim. Okay, so the funding is subject to the whims of our donors. She hires and fires people at whim. So, the origin of this word, it comes from a phrase whim wham. Whim wham is an old word for a fancy. It's not really used very much anymore. And this itself comes from probably Old Norse. There's an Old Norse word, hvimba, meaning to your eyes are wandering, or in Norwegian, kvimma, to flutter. So a whim, formality. On a whim. I think, yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 in formality, use anywhere. So, a whim, on a whim, to do something on a whim.